Example. I'm going to use this example. You know who you are. I'm not going to call you out. This is not because this is the worst example in the world. Far from it. This is actually a very cool example that I'm going to cover right now. And this person knows we've gone over this thing, but this is a very good example because it teaches you guys who are kind of not necessarily connecting things, probably the best possible way of avoiding these mistakes. So essentially a water bottle with infused water, right? Fruit infused water. So let's do a little bit of interaction so I don't hear myself talk nonstop and my microphone doesn't go out every 5 minutes. One thing I'm glad about these microphones that they don't spit because, I would have been wet. So tell me this. Who would you target for this product? You can say anything. Whatever comes to mind. You don't have to do research. This is not about that. Just tell me who you would target, generally speaking, for this product. Okay, so I see people who work out, sporty people, health conscious, runners. Keep going. Something in the health niche, nutrition focused, women runners. Okay? Females, marathon runners. Okay. People who like water. Yeah, there's a few of those. Dieters, yoga, women runners at a certain age range. All right, very good. So what about this CrossFit? Would you target CrossFit as generally speaking? CrossFit never. Okay, keep going. I just want to see what you guys are saying. No. It would be worth trying. Okay. Possibly test it. No, because they're usually more hardcore. Keep going. Test it. Go on. Not everybody answered, so give me your best answer. Go ahead. There's no right or wrong answer here. I'm going to show you why this is worth testing, not worth testing, how far you can take this, in terms of money and stuff like that. So give me, I did test it. Okay, yes. Agree with the hardcore answer, okay. All right. So most of you said split probably between no and test it. Now, this is what I say. And I think this is worth really, really, really kind of perk your ears here and kind of, the real question is what problem does it solve? You know what? You don't necessarily, that's kind of more for targeting, Bruce. Basically, if this product, let me kind of step back. Assuming this product is showing you the fact that it sells well and it's showing you that there's a price arbitrage possibility. So the question is it worth testing and just checking it out? Okay. Let's assume everything else is in place. Everything, the price arbitrage is there. The fact that it sells a lot is there. It's a perfect product. Let's just go with that. The question is, how do we approach this? And one of the things I asked, obviously, is CrossFit. So when you guys say test it, I hope you don't mean run ads to CrossFit. And I'll tell you why. One person said, see what people in CrossFit buy, perhaps. The birthday girl seems to be only a year older, but about a decade wiser. I think it's the closest answer to where I am going with this. So let's actually, before doing anything, just take a look. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, because take a look at what CrossFit is. Honestly, I have an idea now because I've done a one-on-one, but before then and during the one-on-one, I had no idea anything about the CrossFit. I know of it, but I don't know what this market is. Okay? Now, I get it that it's about fitness, but let's actually jump online. Let's go to Audience Insights. And the first thing I'm going to do here is if I think, now why did I pick CrossFit? Because this is a good example, but I'm assuming you guys are going to go through the same kind of thought pattern, okay? Maybe CrossFit came to mind. So let's check it out. CrossFit is definitely about fitness, and a heck of a lot of you said sporty, health conscious, runners and stuff like that. So CrossFit is right smack in the middle, supposedly, of all the sports and running and working out and that kind of thing, I think. So let's actually look at it. I have no idea about anything, and this is just me starting from scratch. I'm going to put in CrossFit and see if it comes up. Now, this general interest comes up, and the first thing I'm going to see is one thing that we did not necessarily, some of you actually said this, is that CrossFit is predominantly male. There you go, Stefan. Now, do you think this is a male product? Yes or no? Okay. It is, well, yes, it is unisex, but it's not really a men's product because men are not going to buy fruity bottles, generally speaking. Nothing against fruity bottles, nothing against men, but, generally, yeah, exactly. It's a bit pretty. So this is generally a female product. So with a single second of research, I don't have to spend a penny doing anything else and bothering with CrossFit at all. I eliminated this because one way or another, I don't know how, I can prove this to you, I just don't want to spend the time on this. This is more male interest than female, which means immediately you do not want to deal with this. Robert asked a good question. What if you target CrossFit but limit it to women? Well, you're going to get a small number of people in your reach. My point is you go out for interests because there are so many interests that are related to health and sports and women in a big way rather than going for a small reach of something that is much more male-oriented. So where do I begin? The first thought that came to my head was, CrossFit. And immediately I see this thing. Now what? So I am going to start. Stefan keeps saying yoga. Okay, not a problem. Let's put yoga. Now, remember when I said you guys are doing it too broad? Some of you are going for yoga as an interest. Yoga is not an interest. Meaning it's not something to go after. It's too broad, but it's certainly a good interest to start doing your research. Now we see 75% women. Okay, we're in the right direction. Fantastic. I'm going to go to page likes, and I'm going to do several things. I'm just going to look over these different categories that are popping up. The reason why I'm just looking at them right now is to see if anything here makes any sense in any way, shape, or form as it relates to that part of the population that has to do or is more probable to consume a water-infused bottle. I have no idea who Nick Ortner is. I have no idea what this stuff is. I can't even pronounce it, and so on and so forth. I have no idea what NutriBullet is. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check to see. Open this page, and I'm gonna see this guy. If you scroll down, there's always a description. Is a best-selling author about something changing your life, and so is it close to what we're going? It's a little bit of a stretch. I want to be closer. So I don't necessarily think this is too close. If we go to NutriBullet, for example, I don't know what this is. Is it closer? I think between those two that I just picked, this one is closer. So then we go back to audience and we say, okay, NutriBullet. Oh, but it doesn't come up. That's one of the things that you guys keep telling me. A lot of these interests do not come up. So what do I do? Well, you started with yoga, and you found this NutriBullet thing, which looks pretty good, but it doesn't come up. So what do you do? Well, let's actually jump back.
Hey, can I interrupt real quick?
This is where we start finding these new ways. I'm going to start with something you already know, by the way. So don't when you see this, don't feel like, oh, I already know this. And then we're going to get into something else. Oh, Sam is trying to talk. Ooh, sorry. 1 second. Go ahead.
I'm always in the cage and never want me to talk. Huh? No, but I was just going to quickly, can you just go back to that page for the audience insights? So I just wanted, and we discussed this before, but the reason I just want to kind of go over real quick is the reason you guys, and like Boris was saying, you don't want to target yoga is because if you scroll up a little bit, Boris, you're going to see it says it's like 20 to 25 million. Right, 20 to 25 million active people. This does not mean that everyone is related to yoga. That's why you see things on there like We Love Birds and My Picture, My Story, which has nothing to do with yoga. Is because, again, if Boris shares something with me about yoga and I like it, excuse me, or comment on it, I will be in that audience. So, and I don't follow yoga, I'm not into yoga, but I will be included in there. That's why you want to scroll down, and that's when you want to start doing your research and digging into it and digging into it and digging into it until you find the higher infinity. And the higher infinity is the more people are related to this. So that's why when you target things like yoga, you're going to go after a lot of people that have nothing to do with yoga. The exact same thing goes with things like teacher. If you type in teacher, you're going to see the same thing. Not everyone's related to teacher, but if somebody shared something, if I know a teacher, she shared something with me and I liked it or whatnot, I'm going to be part of that audience. See how big that audience is? It's huge, 60 million. And half of those things on there don't even have anything to do with teacher. Oh, you typed in T. But regardless, that's why you guys want to do a little bit digging and not go after these really, really, really big ones. All right, I'll go back to mute now. They don't want me to talk.
No, that's awesome. I actually had the speaker turned off. That's why. That's actually awesome. And I want to give you one more tip to tell you that you are way too broad. And that tip is, just like Sam said, number one, you see things like 20 to 25 million. That's a flag. Number two is I can do this all night with you, but I'll just show you two examples. One is teacher. If you scroll down to affinities, you'll see things like 3x, 2x. This is the highest one, 3. It's pretty low, isn't it? The reason why these things are so low is because this interest is so broad. That's why anything that's kind of in the, people who like this, also like this, is so low, because this is way too high. This is like a 30,000 foot view in terms of the interest. And if we go back to yoga, you'll see the same thing. The millions here and the affinity is going to be low. That's the highest one. This is a clue that you're way too broad. The low numbers are the highest affinities and the tens of millions of people in the audience. Okay, so let's go back to how do you go from yoga and the NutriBullet and actually get some info out of that. So additional methods of researching interests. Okay.